Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2. Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is RHJunior. We're with a mouthful of delicious brownie. Mm. Beg your pardon. Begging your pardon. I just mouthful of brownie. Eating my lunch while I'm doing this. Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is RHJunior, RHJunior Reality Check Live, coming to you live over the internet through a system of tubes, series of tubes known as YouTube, an imitation of the old-fashioned boob tube. And I am bringing you, once again, another broadcast of irregular content and irregular time and place of spleen squeezins. Can you feel the excitement? I don't know what the music is doing. It's just sort of looking at me. Okay. Hey. I'm really not sure what the music is doing. I don't know if it's too loud. I don't know if it's too soft. I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if I can hear it. This right here, the little sound meter thing is just barely moving, just like one square. And from what I've been told, that's still too loud. Okay, so I'm leaving it right about here. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I'm trusting you, so you're gonna have to tell me. Okay. Not mentally well. Okay. Today we are having the I Need to Mow My Lawn Fund Me campaign. It's basically where I go online and make money because I need my lawn mowed. And what it comes down to is that the lawn mowing company I hired, I tried to hire a guy to mow my lawn, and he pulled a no-show. So I had to go back to the TaskEasy.com, local lawn mowing service. The problem is that TaskEasy.com, they want about $50 to $60 to mow my lawn. I've got about $30 in my bank. So I'm going online and I'm basically saying, could you please drop a little something in the PayPal cup on my website, www.rhjunior.com. There is a PayPal button on the upper right side. A little donation so that I can mow my lawn and my landlord doesn't come out and scream at me. Because he's already probably wants to scream at me anyway. I'm broke. Ain't got no money. I always ain't got no money. Now, where's the music? Where'd the music go? Doggone it! Okay, the autoplay feature. The autoplay feature on YouTube is missing. I can't find it. I thought I fixed it. I did not fix it. It's missing. Those monkey spankers. They're constantly changing crap. They're constantly changing teeny little twiddly things. Doesn't do anything for the performance or anything else. It just makes things aggravating for everybody else. Guess what? We're going to listen to Rain. Rain! Yay! Okay, nature sounds for me. Okay. Naturesounds for.me. It's a little web thingy-majiggy that lets you make nature stuff, nature background sounds. If you can get it to fricking work. It's yes. Allow, you digital bastard. Allow. Okay, let's see here. Nature. Remove. Nature. Beg your pardon. Birds. Forest birds. There, enjoy the rain sounds. And what else froze? What else froze? What else froze? What else is breaking down on me? I'm really not up to this. I'm just really not up to anything anymore. I'm so sick of this. Okay, it's 1:31 in the afternoon. Yay! Aren't you excited? I bet you're at work. That's why you're excited. Sound of me eating a brownie. You realize there's some, like, boho artist recording the sound of me chewing a brownie, and he's going to make a remix of it and sell it in Haight-Ashbury or something. I know that Haight-Ashbury in San Diego, San Francisco was, crazy town back during the hippie times. Is it still goofy out there? Is it still like Weirdville Central, or is it, some other location that everybody thinks of when you say these people are nuts? California, where all the best nuts come from. I don't know. Oh my. It never stops. It really never does. Okay. I got one person listening, and that one person is probably me. So I'm sitting here. I'm waiting a little bit. Waiting a little bit before I do anything. Before I do anything drastic. Commit to anything. There, let me finish off this part. How old am I? I'm so old that I've started eating bologna again. I grew up on bologna sandwiches, you know, bologna this, bologna that, bologna sandwiches. By the time I was an adult, I hated bologna. I avoided it whenever I possibly could. Did everything in my power to avoid having to buy it or eat it. Here I am, I've stockpiled bologna in my freezer now. Because it's cheap. It's Ben Shakar! Ben Shakar. I can't even pronounce it. He's here. He's in channel. He's talking. He says hello. He talks to me. It speaks. It's alive. How you doing, Ben? What up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, guess what, Ben? I'm online begging for money again. Yay. It was just that's the sound of, you know, another fragment of my will to live just, you know, going down the drain. But what it is, I gotta mow my lawn. Yay. Gotta mow my lawn. The guy I tried to hire to mow my lawn did a no-show. He disappeared. Did a no-show. At least this time I didn't pay him first. This time I did not pay the guy first, so, you know, I didn't lose anything, except several weeks. And, well, anyway, the only people I've been able to find, TaskEasy.com. TaskEasy.com. They're a company that, you know, they basically they're a middleman. They hire lawnmowers, gardeners, things like that. Send them out to where you live. Unfortunately, in order to get my lawn mowed, they want $50 if I schedule it twice a week. If I schedule it twice a month. $50 each time if I schedule it twice a month. And for a one-time lawn mowing, they want about 60 some odd dollars. 60 some odd dollars. I currently only have a little bit less than $30 in the bank, so yeah, you know, I'm sort of shaking the tin cup here, you know, passing the hat, hoping that you know, I'll have enough people go, we've got to keep this moron, you know, from killing himself and starving to death. You know, just throw him a dollar, honey, throw him some, you know, throw some coins in his coffee cup. But yeah. I hate it. Every time I find somebody who will mow the lawn, who says they'll mow the lawn, the next one I'm going to chain to a stake in the yard, I swear. But anyway, my choices are, you know, I've got to, you know, I could just wait. I could just wait. Because, but I would have to wait until June. I would have to wait until June 2nd. I went ahead and scheduled tentatively with them for June 2nd. That's a month from today. So you can imagine how tall the grass is going to be by then. So, you know, it's a no-win situation. And if the grass is over 6 inches high, they charge you extra. By that time, you won't be able to find my house. It's supposed to rain and thunderstorm all week. The grass is already. Why haven't you mowed the lawn high? You know, and I just can't win. I swear. The only only people who are reliable about doing this sort of thing want a fortune to do it. I can't afford to be paying them $100, $120 a month to mow my lawn. I don't even make enough money to pay everything as it is that I already owe. I'm about this close to snapping and paying somebody to douse the entire yard in Roundup. The landlord would really love that. It's ridiculous. It really is. Yeah, and let's move on. Please make a donation to my mobile lawn fund. There are links showing on the page www.rhjunior.com to go to my website and click on PayPal. I've been hearing more. I've been hearing some bad things about Patreon lately. The thing of it is, I've checked up. Is so far, it's only like one source. So, I'm not jumping ship yet. But they're looking to raise their. I've heard they're looking to raise their rates and make things, otherwise more difficult. Their CEO recently came out and said that their generous policies were not sustainable. They don't do anything. Their expenses are like me. All they do is provide. They're an intermediary between the people who make donations and the people who receive them. You can set. You can allegedly set up a subscription type button thing through PayPal without them, but I don't know how to do that. This is part of the thing that attracted me to Patreon, because they simplify my life. But if they're going to make my life more expensive and difficult, I'm keeping my eye on them. But right now, Patreon, I haven't had any problems with. I haven't really had any problems with. They had that server crash a couple of months ago that sort of tied everybody in knots, but that wasn't hardly their fault. Well, he isn't actually the landlord. He's the groundskeeper, basically, for the trailer park. Part of the deal is that if you have a trailer lot, you have to mow the lawn immediately around your trailer. And there's not really much I can do about that, so. If he comes by, if he says anything, if he comes by and knocks on the door, why don't you mow the lawn, I'm going to corner him and ask him, do you have anybody I could pay to do this? Because otherwise I'm going to have to wait a month, and then I'm going to have to pay a fortune to this Task Easy farm of monkeys. Just to get it done. Because I can't seem to rely on anybody. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to go on. I caught my next door neighbor mowing his lawn. I said, "Hey man, I'll pay you $20. I'll write you a check right now for $20 if you'll just keep mowing over and mow my lawn too." I said, "No, I've only got this one day off, and I barely got enough time to mow my own lawn." It's like, okay. Dang. In the news, nothing worth mentioning, really. Our elected leaders are morons. The ones that aren't morons are crooks, and the ones that aren't either are both. Sun rises in the east, grass is green, sky is blue. Next page. Ouch. Ouch. What? I ordered several things this month I need. Things like talcum powder, toilet paper. A lot of orders on Amazon. There's no way I can get stuff. Hello, Lorelia. Hello, aloha, halia, aloha, aloha. Hey, hello, Hawaiian war chant. Hey, I don't know where I'm going with that. I have no clue where I was going with that. But here we are. So let's keep going. Alright, let's see. As always, I'm passing the hat today. Hoping everybody will throw a buck in because, well, I need to pay a company to mow my lawn. Because they're the only people who will actually do it. And I don't have enough money to pay them to do it. I could wait until the end of the month, but by that time, you won't be able to find the house for the grass. We're supposed to get thunderstorms roll through. If you've looked at the Weather Channel, it looks almost like there's a hurricane blowing down from Canada. I'm not kidding you. Like, here it comes. You know, I'll drown. Should have put platoons on my house. Still haven't managed to set aside any money to buy I need to buy tar. I need to borrow some roofing tar. I need to hire somebody to put that roofing tar up on my roof. Because my ceiling has a leak in the bedroom and there's like a mold formation that is slowly taking over the ceiling there. And I'd really rather not have my ceiling collapse on me. It's always one thing or another. It's always one thing or another. You get an old trailer, and this trailer is 48 years old. It's every bit as old as I am, and it's in the same condition too. Bottom falling out, thinning on the top. Plumbing doesn't work right. Gas problems. I use that joke every now and then. Gotta trot it out and use it at least once or twice. You're listening to Sounds of Nature by Nature Sounds for Me. NatureSounds4.me. And if somebody files this thing for copyright claim, I swear I'm gonna hurt somebody. Anyway. I'm trying to think. Right now I'm just waiting for my feet to stop hurting a little. So I can focus. I can't think straight. It's frustrating. It's aggravating. It's a pain in the butt. I've got energy, but the steering wheel's missing right now. Decided to run it in the middle of the day because I knew that I would start getting tired and sleepy and exhausted about mid-afternoon. Because I'm an old fart. I'm quote unquote only 48, but largely speaking, the warranty is expired for most of my serviceable parts. trying to think. I'm trying to think. Tell me if the birdie noises get too loud. Tell me if the rainstorm in the background gets too loud. At least I know the sound going to the concert. For some reason, YouTube's, YouTube is not doing autoplay, and I can't figure out. The switch is missing. The switch to turn autoplay on and off is missing, and it's driving me crazy. I'm so sick of them screwing around with the dang thing. I wish they would stop trying to improve it and just make sure it works. Quit improving things. Just fix them. Oh, you bought my ebooks. Thank you very much. That's marvelous. I hope you enjoy them. I wish I could sell my fan fictions that way. And, away we go. But man, the lawyers will be right up my rear end in no time flat. But, let's see here. Let's see, somebody finally went in and fixed the TV tropes page for Ladybird. They, something about the setup in TV tropes had mixed up the page for my fanfiction with the page for some obscure art house movie. I'm assuming it's an obscure art house movie. I've never heard of the movie Lady Bird before. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I love this ad. Get paid to take surveys. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything anything import that has appeared on Facebook as of late. The answer is no. I love all these people that are avidly studying the end times, the tribulation and everything. The only thing that I have come to the conclusion about the tribulation period, the rapture and everything, that it's going to happen, and it's going to be absolutely nothing like anybody expected. Not even the Bible scholars are going to. The Bible scholars are going to be all. I can't believe I got all this chance to throw it over their shoulder. I can't believe I got that all wrong. In other news, they're still trying to get Trump for something. Why? We live in a world that's run by people, mentally 6-year-olds. Apparently, got a picture here of a cow that had quadruplets. It's a real picture. Four little calves all in a row, little black and white spotty cows. They named them Eeny, Meeny, Miny, and Moo. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the side of that. Yeah. I'm wondering when Avengers Endgame is going to come out on Netflix, or on the internet, or anywhere. Oh my. Okay, one of the suspects in the most recent school shooting in Colorado, CO, right? Okay, one was a transgender male, and the other hated Christians and Donald Trump. Okay, good. You can just about place a bet. You're not going to find any young Republicans doing these shootouts. Let's just place that as a safe bet. No matter how much they wish. I remember back in September 11th, 9/11/01. This was, back in September 11th, YERF was still going strong. YERF, www.yerf.com, was an online art archive. PG-rated art, and, higher. That's one of the few like that. And I was a member, and I was so angry and frustrated by what had happened. A day later, as 9/12, I drew a picture, a caricature. It was a chicken sitting on a toilet. The chicken had one of those Arab head towel things on and a bomb belt. And I captioned it "chicken shits." It was the only way I could just vent my anger. And the staff yanked it down within 30 minutes. You can't post these kind of things. You don't know that we don't know that these were Arabs or Muslims. Well, of course, they were Presbyterians from New England. desperately afraid of being fought. They're like little schoolgirls. My sister, when she was preteen, she was pathetic. She was so obsessed with being liked by her school friends. She'd throw a fit about her hair. Oh, my friends are doing this, my hair like that, and they make fun of me if I wear my hair like that. And it was about she was always worrying about her clothes, about the things she brought to school, the toys she would, and her popularity just hung by a thread constantly. And I wasn't even 12 years old, and I was going, this is pathetic. I was like, I would rather be the school loser. I was already something of an outcast in my peer group. So, but I looked at how she was acting and how desperate and snivelly she was about just, if I don't do this, they won't like me anymore. And I was like, I'd rather spend the rest of my life being picked on, really beat than end up like that. And look at these people. These people are supposed to be adults. They're so scared that their peers will have to say, "Oh, you're ethnically insensitive. We don't like you anymore. You can't play gollies with us." No. Man alive. What can you say to that? No, Disney's got their own streaming service. Well, wherever they post it. As long as it appears somewhere that it can be downloaded and watched. I'm already starting to tank out. I don't know. I have no answers. I have no answers. I'm looking for the studios. Here it is. Okay. the Spider-Man in the kid, the Spider-Man in Spider-Man Homecoming. That's not Spider-Man. That's a mishmash of Peter Parker and Miles Morales. The replacement ethnic Spider-Man they came up with. It's Peter Parker's face, and Aunt May's name. Everything else is changed. It's Miles Morales, and they're making a hash out of Spider-Man. I swear they are. They're a bunch of people that shouldn't be trusted alone with a potted plant, much less a multi-billion-dollar franchise. I'd have to look. I think I get something like 10-20%. Something it's fairly small. This is why I need to sit down. I need to sit down. I need to convert the files I have over to be posted on Amazon.com. You see, the thing of it is that fudge. I've still got I've got to sit down and scrape the rust off my brain and try and remember how to make a PDF file out of all these image files. I remember one program I used to do that. The pages were all alphanumeric. Okay. They had alphanumeric file names, right? And the damn thing posted them in random order. And I had to go in by hand and put all the pages in proper order. Oh, Lord. Oh, man, that was a headache and a half. A headache times 10. It's a long story. It involves a great deal of work, slow, laborious, time-consuming, time-wasting. By all rights, with the software that we have now, the publishing software we have now, should be a matter of these are the images. You should look at the program and say, dear program, these are the images I want. In a book. Put them in the book. And the computer says, okay. In order? Yes. And all the pages are filled up with images. You gotta do it all by hand. I hate PDF format. I swear I do. I hate the people that invented it. I hate the fact that they're profiteering off it. I hate that they managed to convince a lot of pointy-haired bosses to make it the standard for business. Because it's slow, it's clumsy, it's almost unusable. I don't care what you say. It's a mess. And the fact that it costs a fortune to get the editing software that they provide, or you have to get some other off-brand program to do it, which doesn't work right usually. it's infuriating. And what's more is that they update the PDF. The PDF every few years, they change the PDF in some way so that the old PDF files no longer work. Hate them. I'm sorry, it's just pet peeve. Just converting one book is a project. It's going to take 2 or 3 days. I've been putting it off. I'm putting it off. I've been dreading it because in order to make it transferable to. I'm thinking of asking Kablam, Indie Planet, Kablam, aka Indie Planet, to send me the. They already sent me the 2 print PDF files, which are different from the 2 read downloadable files. So I'm gonna ask them to send some. Sorry, I'm lazy. I frustrate myself. Now, I want to switch to Amazon.com because Amazon, one, has better, has an actual audience base, for one thing. Better, larger customer base. And second of all, because they have better payoff. I didn't know how to make, when I first made these comics, couldn't make comics for Amazon.com. They didn't have the setup for it. You couldn't do it. I'm thinking of this. Kablam. See if Kablam.com is back online. Yesterday it was offline. I don't know what was wrong. Kevin, I'm just sending a little message to Kablam.com. Here's hoping they get back to me. Nice. Now, let's see. Hopefully they'll send me the files. I can upload them to Amazon.com and just basically take everything from there. Hello, Cartoon Glutton. How are you doing? How are you? I'm having another day online, and I'm sort of passing the hat so I can get enough money to have my lawn mowed. Just so you know. Yay. The company that mows the lawns wants like 50 to 60 bucks. I currently have about 30. So, you know, hence the hat passing. Back down for maintenance again. Crap. Alright, let's see. Man, I feel funky all of a sudden. Okay, let's see. Work on next nip and tuck strip if I can't think of anything else to do at the moment. Stencils time. Takes more willpower than it should to do this. I bought up, I got some Monster energy drink. And there's no denying, the stuff works. But I've been using too much of it the past couple of weeks, drinking way too much of it. I promised myself that I would only, I was going to limit myself to about 2 cans a day. I'm drinking a bit more than that. Maybe 3 or 4. And it's catching up with me. Giving me that restless energy without any focus. I just got so tired of, feeling so tired. What I probably need is well, I need 1,000 things. Let's be honest here. Shoot, they need to load me up in an ambulance, drive me to the hospital, and just leave me there while doctors ride by on a conveyor belt and work on various things that are wrong with me. I swear. I'm tired all the time. It's just a matter. There's so many things that can cause it. Poor nutrition, low blood iron, B vitamin deficiency. That's mostly why I drink the Monster energy drink. The caffeine and taurine, they give me a kick in the butt, but it's still got that B6 and B12 in it. Mega doses. Found a vitamin on my bottles of vitamins. It's all B vitamin. It has all the B vitamins, presumably all B1 through B12. I'd love to know what, I know what B6 is, you got B6, you got B12, and I know there's B4 and B, what are the rest of them? That's what gets me, you talk about, they talk about New Orleans and New York, and you're sitting there as a kid going, where's the old one? I'm so angry all the time. Just when I start to get going, it's like somebody pulls the plug. And all I want to do is lie back down and sleep again. It's surprising, you go on and you go to Imager.com, a couple other locations where people post up these pictures and these memes and everything, and it is distressing the number of ones that I'm going, yeah, I understand that completely. Like, there's one guy that said, you got, one guy posted a picture that said, you got the early birds, the late night owls, and me, I'm just a perpetually tired ostrich. That's me, a perpetually tired ostrich. And they describe, just being tired all the time. And how being an adult seems to be nothing but being tired. I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I understand. so much. It's a story, you know? And all these other things they talk about, you know, the boomer generation's sneers at the current generation. The 90s kids, the Y2K kids. They say, the first thing that the boomers do is what was the first thing we got? How many different headlines have you seen? What do they call the current generation nowadays? Not the boomers, not the 90s kids. What do they call them? Can't remember. What do they call this generation? Not the brain like a sieve. And the articles are all about how this generation has destroyed. You know, they've killed cable TV. They've killed newspapers. They've killed this and they've killed that and they've killed this. You know, they killed the other thing. Have you seen those? How many of you have seen? Hundreds, probably. Dozens, hundreds. What do they call them? Come on, somebody, throw me a bone here. What do they call the 90s kids now? What do they call the 90s and the year 2000 kids? What do they call them now? I can't remember. Millennials. Can't believe it took me forever to think of that. One kid wrote, you know, if I had a dime for every time they blamed the millennials for something, I'd be able to buy a house in the market they ruined. Millennials. I was born in 1971, so I am not a millennial. I'm not a millennial, and I'm not a 90s kid, so, you know, I'm not staying up on my own, but doggone, I'm so sick of hearing them blame everything on the millennials. First off, even if the millennials were responsible, they didn't raise themselves. Second of all, most of the problems that they're blaming on the millennials didn't make them, they're inheriting them. Third, many of the things they call travesties and tragedies and problems aren't problems at all. They're just, it's just old farts not liking change. The millennials killed cable TV. No, shitty service killed cable TV. Okay? Right. this up-and-coming arc with Nippertuck is going to get a little bit, well, saucy. I'm not going to say much more than that. It's slightly daring territory for me. Of course, I've done slightly daring before. More than slightly daring. are you seeing what I'm doing here? Did I put it on the right channel? Okay. Well, I'm thinking of it. Let's talk about fan fictions. One of the tropes that I really don't like. One of the things that you see in a lot of writing, especially in a lot of fan fiction, they just can't spit it out. Have you ever seen that? For instance, the premise of the story is that the protagonist has some deep, dark, awful secret. Or they think they do. And they're terrified that anybody will find out. And it's stupid because it goes on for chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter of them almost telling somebody this supposedly devastating secret. And then it finally gets to the chapter where they tell something and they're like, yeah, big deal, so. And they realize, the big important lesson that the secret wasn't that important, and, friendship forever, and all that crap. I hate that, okay? I hate having to read 10, 20, 30 chapters more, waiting for the protagonist to just spit out this terrible secret so the actual story can start. I've seen it in My Hero Academia, where I've seen a couple of different My Hero Academia stories where the main protagonist, Midoriya, it turns out that his father is actually a villain. And the story slogs along for hours, chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter. Oh, what if they find out? What if they see me use my quirk and they realize that it's just like this supervillain over here, and they undiscover me, and somehow he manages to hide us, even in the most ridiculous extent, when it's absolutely obvious. But somehow, some freak occurrence happens and nobody figures it out, okay? For some reason, chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter. And I'm like, just get on with it! The real meat of the story is after the shocking secret is revealed. And everything either changes or everything doesn't. I hate those stories. I hate it. Because, first of all, because most of them dragging you through the stations of the canon. For those of you who don't know, the phrase the stations of the canon, it references the fact that many people who write these fan fictions, they drag, they're supposedly I'm going to write something totally new with this setting. And then they take the protagonist and drag them through all the events in the original story. Like, they'll write a Harry Potter story and they'll have him go through everything that he went through in the original books for no particular reason. Even when it would make sense 1,000 times over, for whatever the premise is, Harry Potter's traveled back in time, or he's discovered some new ability, or anything that they change. They make some supposedly dramatic change, and then nothing in the story itself changes. I hate that. If I just wanted to read the original story over, I'd just go over and get the thing off my bookshelf. If you're trying to claim to be original, be original! This is why in the Warcrafter, huge changes happen very quickly and very early on. certain things still happen. But the changes are things are radically, things have changed, and so everything else changes too. This is why in any of the stories I've written, if something changes, everything changes. Because many times they make some change in the story, and they still got to, they still feel some sort of religious obligation to go through all the events of the original work as if nothing was different, even when, by all reason, some of the events in the original canon would not be happening here. Excuse me. Then you have the other end of the stick where people change things without any justification. For instance, a lot of people want to, when they rewrite a fan fiction for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, if you want to be picky. They have Harry Potter become friends with Draco Malfoy. Because of some trivial change, like Ron doesn't get on the train in time, or he sits in a different compartment, or it's just stupid. I'm sorry, but back the truck up. Harry, it wasn't just some accident, okay? People don't read the stories comprehensively. They say, oh, he didn't shake Malfoy's hand. That was the cause of the whole problem. That's the reason. It was all because Harry didn't shake Malfoy's hand. No, it was because Draco Malfoy was a bigoted, snobby, arrogant little prick. And Harry didn't like him from the moment he first met him. Everybody forgets that Harry met Draco for the first time at the clothing store, getting his robes. And Draco was rude and condescending. He insulted Hagrid almost to his face. And Harry took one look at him, and what he saw was one of the snot-nosed bullies from his grade school. And he's like, no, I don't want anything to do with this jerk. He had already met Draco and recognized him for what he was, and decided that he didn't want anything to do with him. No, it wasn't just an accident that Draco and Harry didn't get along. I remember reading one story. They wrote this Groundhog Day type story where Snape tries to go back and change what he thought of as the worst day of his life. Fate has given him a chance to fix everything, and he keeps going back to that day where he called Lily a mudblood. And he keeps going back, he keeps trying to change it, the first time he goes back, he doesn't call him but things still fall apart. And it's not until he admits that the problems went back years. Nobody wants to admit this, is that Snape did not become the bitter, nasty man he was just because Harry's father picked on him at school. Severus Snape was already a bigot when Lily Evans first met him. first met Lily and Petunia was there, and Petunia started believing, just, because she took one look at Snape and was like, what's up with this greasy character? And he used his magic on her, and made a branch break off a tree, and nearly split her head open. She runs off crying, and Lily's like, you hurt my sister, and Snape was like, who cares? She's just a muckle. He already, he was already, shall we say, problematic at the age of 10 when he first met Lily. He gets to school, the first thing he does is join Slytherin, and he starts tagging along with junior Death Eaters everywhere. He starts mucking about with dark magic. He starts making his own dark magic spells. Apparently, as other characters in the book, he gave as good as he got. He was as much a bully as the others were, if not worse. And Lily was reading him the riot act on it, but he wasn't listening. Harry's father was going around, casting pranks on people. Severus Snape was going around with a spell that slashed your face open into ribbons. James, Harry's father, was kind of a jock jerk. But Severus Snape was the equivalent of a teenage neo-Nazi with a swastika tattooed on his arm and a switchblade in his pocket. But everybody acts like, Snape's, downfall was because James pantsed him that one terrible day. Just a minute. Looks like I got company. I'll be right back. I have returned just a package. I believe it's my supply of toilet paper. Starting to warm up. Nothing like living in a trailer with this metal roof. Summer creeping in. Hooray. Round in the middle and tall in the middle and round both ends. Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Ding ding. This song brought to you courtesy of Cartoon Planet. Space Coast, Coast to Coast, and back. Toilet paper, toilet tissue. Oh yeah, Draco reminded Harry of Dudley. Spoiled and entitled. And he was right. That's what gets me. Why do you dump on the Slytherins? Why does everybody pick on the Slytherins? You know, Harry and Ron were prejudiced. No, Harry and Ron were right. From the beginning of the books to the end, the Slytherins routinely behaved in a manner rather deplorable. Am I wrong? There wasn't a, I don't think there was a single Slytherin character in 7 books that wasn't, other than Slugworth. But the students were either stood off and watched while either were bullying other kids or standing off and watching while it happened. The whole house was a nasty piece of work. Once again, Rowling didn't think through the implications of what she was writing. Basically, Slytherin was a dumping ground for all the kids they expected to go bad. Yeah, you're saying the Alliance needs to struggle against its enemies? Yeah, that's going to happen eventually. It's a matter of deciding how and when, though. Most of it boils down to the fact that when Skinwalker arrived, when Bayleaf arrived, when Adrian arrived, he realized two things. First of all, he was going to have to strike hard and fast, and he was going to have to hit with everything he had. To get all the enemies that were in his way on the back foot. As it stands, he was fairly lucky. He managed to, he managed to drop a surprise attack right in the laps of Cauldron. He managed to wipe out the merchants. And he curved, and he basically did an atomic drop on Coil. They've got some pretty they got some pretty huge advantages right now. But there are still enemies out there that they haven't even faced yet. One of the things they have to worry about, first of all, is that the Empire 88 is still out there, still at full power. They still have all their villain capes, and now all the opposition to the Empire 88 has been wiped out. There's still Bakuda, as you recall, who was Lung's lieutenant, and she's still got going on a rampage. You've still got the Teeth, you've still got the Slaughterhouse 9, you've still got what are they called? The Prestige, the Syndicate, something like that. Franchise? What are the supervillains who are trying to take over the world with money? You've also got potential disasters like Nilbog and the Machine Syndicate to take care of. So there's a lot of things that go on, and there's the Teeth in particular. One of the villains that got to do. This is one that doesn't get much play. This is one that doesn't get much thought. Accord. Now, for those who don't know, Accord is a villain in Worm. His superpower, he's a thinker, and he's capable of orchestrating plans. Just clockwork perfect plans for anything. Yeah, it's basically another heads I win, tails you lose. Push A to win power. Like he basically can organize hyper perfect plans. The downside is that he's a hyper perfectionist. He's like OCPD to the nth power. He can't tolerate imperfection in any form. You know, a picture, you know, tilted on a wall, you know, drives him nuts. He's killed people for offending his aesthetics. His power has made him that OCD. And he's really undercounted as a villain because people think, oh, he's able to make all these wonderful plans to save the world. You see, that's this thing, is because he designed a plan. You know, he gained his power. He designed a plan basically to solve world poverty and hunger. And nobody would listen to him. The reason he became a villain is so that he could fund his efforts to get his plan implemented. He's not exactly rational. And people undercount him as a villain because they think that because he makes perfect plans, that his plans are perfectly good. Let me paint you a picture. There was, if you've ever played Sim City, especially Sim City 2000, there is a fella. He is online. You know, he's famous on. He designed a city in Sim City that literally ran perfectly. Everything was balanced. Everything ran perfectly. Everything, you know, any crisis that popped up, it balanced out everything. You know, and the city he designed, he fast forwarded. It lasted 400 game years or something like that, and was still going strong. But what you didn't notice is that when you look at the stats on the thing, the human happiness index was in the basement. Average lifespan was 40 years. It was a totalitarian state. It was, yeah, well, basically you get the idea. It was a hellhole. A perfectly run hellhole, but a hellhole nonetheless. And the horrifying thing about Accord is that if he were real, he's the sort of people they would run to because at least the trains would run on time. And if you don't get that reference, look up Mussolini. And even so, my contention is that such a person, even with the most perfect plan in the world, a perfect plan that crushes people, it won't work. It won't work. The world is full of people with perfect plans that when they encounter reality, they fall apart. Like I've said before, Wildbow, the author of Worm, he has, shall we say, a antagonistic relationship with things like math and science and things like probability and randomness and the chaos effect. He's one of these people that believe if you have enough... He's one of these people that still believe that if you had enough information, you could run the universe perfectly. Butterfly effect. Right, the machine army. The elite, yeah. Anyway. If there was a real life We've had a real-life Accord. His name was Karl Marx. You know, he had an idea for a perfect utopian society. The only problem was that it just didn't, you know, the universe just didn't want to work with it. A villain like Accord is doubly monstrous. See, he'd be a creature obsessed with perfection and symmetry, and would happily sacrifice humanity to obtain it. Utopians are the most terrifying people, when they should absolutely terrify anybody that meets them, because they all have this perfect plan. And they don't care if human beings can fit it in or not. You remember the legend of Procrustes? Procrustes was a character in Greek mythology. He was a monster. Travelers would stop at his house. He would take them in, welcome his guests. He would give them a bed to lie on. And if they were too short for it, he would come in while they were asleep in the middle of the night, tie their head to one rope and their feet to another, and stretch them out until their spine snapped and they fit. And if they were too long for it, he'd come in and saw off their feet or their head. Karl Marx, the 20th century Procrustes. Nothing human can live in a utopia. Sorry, I fell drifting off to let my mind wander here. One of the running things in one of the themes in Worm that gets ignored by people a lot is that the reason the world is so terrible The reason that there are so many monsters and villains running loose, and the reason that nobody is able to control them, is precisely because of Cauldron. Starting to drift off again. Let's see it. I think I'm starting to acclimate to the caffeine. That's how it goes. First couple of days, all sorts of energy. And then after a while, you have to it doesn't do anything. That's why I don't drink coffee. That's why I don't want to drink coffee. I don't want to get into a habit that I need, that I end up where I'm drinking coffee just to feel normal. I don't feel normal in the morning anyway, so coffee wouldn't help. Now, I've got a note here on the front page, just a list of all the villains and villain organizations and such, various ideas on how they can be dealt with or how they can be not dealt with by Adrian and his group, if at all. A lot of people are expecting me to do a sequel where they go to World of Warcraft. I'm not so sure about that. Not so sure. I don't know. I can't see much story for them except for them to show up and go, hey-oh, how's it going? Oh, you're the Archmage? Here's our grand unification theory of everything for magic here. Later, we're off to, I don't know, Dragon Ball Z. Later. I don't know. I just took a slug of energy drink. I'm waiting for the caffeine to start kicking in again. like a vat full of like aloe lotion, just soaking you. My legs went up to the knees and just soaking. Burning spots on the sides and arms. sorry. And I drifted off again. It looks like I'm not going to get too much more out of tonight. I'm just, tank's empty. I started early today in hopes that I'd get more hours. Time sketches and stuff. Okay, I'm starting to doze off in my seat here. Okay, it has been 2.5 hours, and so I'm going to call it a night or a day. I might come back on later tonight if after I get a little nap. Try and get a little more functionality running through my body. I am still taking commissions. I have, however, readjusted my prices. I was getting overloaded. I'm already overloaded with bunches of commissions. But I can't say no, so, whereas I need the money. But the prices have gone up a bit to try and